Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the world of financing. It's that engine that powers everything from our biggest dreams to our everyday needs, like buying your first car. So, what really happens when you need money that you don't quite have yet? Well, let's get into it.
It all starts with this question, doesn't it? You find that perfect house, you've got a killer idea for a new business, or maybe you just need a car that'll get you from A to B reliably. But the cash just isn't in the bank. That gap between what we want and what we have, that's the fundamental problem. And financing is the bridge that's designed to get us across.
And believe it or not, there's a whole science dedicated to this exact problem. It's called economics. Now, that definition sounds super academic, I know, but at its heart, it's just the study of how we make choices when we can't have it all. Think of it as the official rulebook for this big game of unlimited wants versus limited resources.
Okay, so if economics gives us the rules of the game, then the financial system, well, that's the playing field itself. It's like this massive, humming engine room working behind the scenes, channeling money from people who have it to people who need it to build, to create, and to grow.
Let's make this real with an example. In Brazil, this engine is called the Sistema Financeiro Nacional, or SFN, and its whole job is to be a kind of financial matchmaker. It connects the creditors, people with savings, to borrowers, and that could be anybody from individuals to huge companies to the government itself. This constant flow of capital is literally what keeps an economy's heart beating.
Now, a system this important can't be a free-for-all, right? It's got to be organized. It all starts with the normative bodies. Think of them as the architects who draw up the blueprints for the whole system. Then you've got the supervisors, who are like the referees, making sure everybody plays by the rules. And finally, you have the operators. These are the banks and financial institutions you actually talk to. It's a really clear chain of command that keeps everything stable.
So that's the giant engine room. But how do you, personally, plug into it? Here's the key. Stop thinking about all these financial products as some confusing menu at a restaurant. Instead, I want you to start seeing them as a toolbox. And inside that box, every single tool is built for a very specific job.
Now, you might be thinking that Toolbox is going to be huge, maybe infinitely large. But here's the good news. For most of the things you'll ever want to do, it really just boils down to 11 core tools. That's it, just 11. If you can understand these, you can build almost anything. So let's lay them out.
The easiest way to organize this toolbox is just by purpose. So we've got tools for our big personal goals, like buying a house or a car. We have a whole other set for specific business needs. And then there's this really fascinating category that's powered not by banks, but by the community. Let's start with those personal goals.
Let's go for the big one right away. It's one of the biggest goals for so many of us, that dream of having your very own place. What tools are in the box for a job this big?
Typically, you'll find two main paths here. The first is just classic real estate financing that you'd get from a bank. The other, sticking with our Brazilian example, is the Sistema Financeiro de Habitação, or SFH. It's a government-backed program, and its huge advantage is how flexible it is. You can use it to buy, build, or even renovate. And get this, the payment terms can stretch up to 35 years. That's a real game changer.
Okay, what about a car? The choice here usually comes down to financing versus leasing. And the key difference, the thing you have to remember, is ownership. With financing, that car is yours from day one. With leasing, you're basically just renting it long-term. And you have the option to buy it when the contract is up. That single detail changes everything.
The toolbox also has things for education, like student financing to help with university costs. And then there's this really unique tool called a consortium or self-financing. Just imagine a group of people all want to buy a car. So they pool their money together every month, and each month, one person from the group gets enough cash to go out and buy theirs. It's like a collective savings club and purchasing group all in one. Pretty cool.
All right, let's pivot for a second to something a little different. Not all financing has to come from these giant institutions. Sometimes it comes directly from the crowd. And this is crowdfunding. The idea is actually really simple. You use an online platform to pitch your idea to the entire world, and people who believe in what you're doing can contribute, often in really small amounts. But when you get thousands of people to chip in, well, that can be enough to fund entire projects.
So we've covered a lot of tools for personal goals.
But what if your dream isn't about buying something, but about building something? What tools do we have for starting or growing a business?
For this, there is an absolutely fantastic tool called microcredit. And this quote on the screen, it sums it up perfectly. It's targeted credit that's designed specifically to help small businesses. We're talking startups, individual micro-entrepreneurs, get off the ground or expand what they're doing.
The Business Toolbox has some other really specialized equipment too. Do you need to buy some heavy machinery? There's a tool for that, like Brazil's FINAME program. Are you struggling with cash flow because you're waiting for clients to pay their invoices? Receivables Anticipation lets you get that cash right now. Do you need to prove to a landlord or a business partner that you're good for the money? A letter of guarantee is basically a bank's official promise that you're a reliable bet.
So we've looked at the system, we've unpacked the entire toolbox, and that brings us to the final and honestly the most important step. How do you actually choose the right tool to turn all this knowledge into real action?
And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway. Financing isn't just about finding money. It's about strategy. It's all about matching your specific, unique goal with the exact right tool for the job. That decision, that perfect match, that is what turns a dream into your future.
You see, when you understand these tools, financing stops being this big, scary thing. It stops being a source of anxiety, and it becomes a source of possibility. You're no longer just watching your own future happen. You're the one holding the blueprints. You're the architect. So the only real question left is, now that you know what's in the toolbox, what are you going to build?